I just reached out and touched the racehorse about to compete, and accidentally discovered it was pregnant. When he heard the news, the man's face turned pale, because he had just bet all his assets on that horse. If the horse couldn't win first place due to pregnancy, he would face complete bankruptcy, so he told the vet to check immediately. The vet confirmed the horse was indeed pregnant. It turned out to be a trap set by the man's rival, but the two who were exposed didn't panic at all. They claimed it was the man who was desperate to buy the horse, and he had already signed the contract when placing the bet. They even mocked him, saying they weren't sure if he could pay the $30,000 after the race. Looking at their arrogant faces, I told the man not to worry. I said even if the horse was pregnant, I could still help him win the race. Then I gave the horse my bathwater to drink, because my true identity was a ginseng spirit, who had cultivated for 1,000 years in Chiangbai Mountain. 20 years ago, I was poisoned after eating wild mushrooms. Just when I was about to die, I met the man's father. Despite being stopped by his men, the father gave me his last life-saving pill. That's when I learned the reason he came to the mountain. It was because heavy snow had cut off the village below. He came hoping to offer his life in exchange for the mountain god's help. I was deeply moved by his righteous act, so I handed him a ginseng fruit formed from my soul, and told him to use it to save the people. I also promised that if he ever needed help, he could come find me. But after losing my ginseng fruit, I could no longer cultivate, so I've stayed in the form of a 5-year-old child all these years. To avoid the harsh consequences, my master told me to go down the mountain and repay the man's father. I had just arrived when I saw my ginseng fruit. It turned out the man's father had gone missing in war. The young commander was seriously injured and near death. The second young master used the ginseng fruit to lure me out for help. Not knowing anything, I got excited when I saw the fruit and took a bite right away. Seeing the red string move, the second young master pulled it in, and that's how I was slowly drawn toward them. Then a servant rushed in to report that the rival was forcing them to hand over their property. To save the commander, the second young master planned to boil the ginseng in soup. Luckily, I escaped when no one was looking. The rival heard the man's father was missing, and the commander was dying. He thought no one could stop him now, so he came over trying to crush them. Meanwhile, during my escape, I saw the commander in bed. I mistakenly thought he was the man who saved me years ago, seeing him wrapped in dark energy and near death. I decided to brew myself into wine for him, so I jumped into the wine jar and soaked for a while. The wine quickly turned golden. Then I flew out of the jar and hurriedly poured a cup of wine for the commander. To everyone's surprise, he actually woke up after drinking it, but I passed out in his arms due to the alcohol. At that moment, the rival was still pressuring the second young master. The 3 madams rushed in to confront him, but the rival pulled a gun on the 3rd madam. Just then, the commander walked out and stopped him. Seeing the once dying commander alive again, the rival was shocked, but the commander gave him no chance to explain, and immediately ordered his men to throw him out. Then the whole family learned from the commander that it was me who saved him. A servant came in to report that the ginseng the second young master brought back was missing. The second young master thought I had eaten it, so he ordered a whole table of dishes for me. The commander said to repay my life-saving grace, he would grant any wish I made. I said I wanted the ginseng fruit. The 3rd madam agreed right away, and said their father would support it too. That's when I realized I had mistaken the commander for my savior, and when the commander said he'd send me home, I immediately burst into tears, saying my parents were gone, and if they didn't want me, I would have no home to return to.